that note of taking notes, we say this all the time, which is if we were in a class on how to buy and sell distressed property and flip houses and make money in real estate, everybody would be doing what? Everybody would be taking notes. Well, I can make millions doing this. And yet we decide we're gonna pick up a gun and we're gonna do something that could save our life. People don't take notes. So I strongly encourage you guys to scribble things down and take notes. You can't know this material too well. So at the tip top of the page right there, the first thing I want to do before I even really talk about the 30,000 foot view of the class is, because if we're going to call something blah 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 home invasion, we should know what it is we're talking about. If we're doing a course on how to train an elephant, we should all be able to define what an elephant is before we even go on. So home invasion, what is that? Let's discuss. And we are in the state of Nevada. By the way, I know Shane and I know that Mark, Shane being from Hawaii and Mark being from Oregon, they're from out of town. Who else is from out of town? We have a fair number of out of town. You're from California? Washington?
New Mexico.
New Mexico, okay. So this is the definition for the state of Nevada, and I'll tell you guys that it's imperative, that's your homework assignment right there, to go back and find out exactly what definitions of X, Y, and Z are, where you guys live. Find out what they are. The reason for that is because if things come to this, and we could find ourselves cornered to the point that we have to use force, or even worse, deadly force, and you use it, you find yourself in any kind of legal proceeding, if the words cross your lips, you need to know exactly what that means. If you're in a courtroom and you say blah, 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 home invasion, you just open yourself up to any line of questioning involving home invasion. So you need to know what the definition of that is. So here in the state of Nevada, as you guys can see, tip top of the page is what? Any person, day or night. So sorry, the time of day, those conditions, we've already decided that it doesn't matter whether it's daytime, it doesn't matter whether it's night. Is doing what? They're forcibly entering. That word forcibly is a critical component to this. If they walk up and they try the doorknob and the door opens without the application of any force, technically it doesn't constitute a home invasion. If you keep on going with the definition, you can see what? Without permission. So it wasn't, hey, come over and feed my dogs. It's they're coming in and they don't have permission to take and do that. Without the permission of owner, resident, or lawful occupant, whether or not a person is present at the time of the entry is guilty of what? Invasion of the home. Now, if we continue going, as you guys can see right there, talking about forcibly entering, oftentimes in the state of Nevada, they will state that we have to see damage to the structure. So I have to see pry marks at a door, I have to see splintering on a door frame, I have to see one of those components. I have to see some damage that has occurred to the structure. State by state, things vary on this as to whether or not the structure is occupied, meaning that there's a body in there. There has to be a person in there. Now I know it's not the intent of the course, but there's two other definitions that are pretty similar, or they get confused a lot, and it's just worth our time to talk about them here real quick, because these two words get interchanged and they shouldn't be. So burglary and robbery. So you go to the Cayman Islands for a week, you come home, and what happens? Your front door is kicked in, you look inside, there's leaves blowing around, your TV is gone, you call the police and you say, we was robbed, right? And you weren't robbed, you were burglarized. So an easy way to remember this is that robbery is something that happens from a person, all right? So that's the taking of property from a person under the fear or threat of force or violence. I walk up to Mark, I put a gun in his face and I say, give me your wallet. I walk up, I put a knife in his face, I say, give me your car. That's a robbery. Everybody get that? Burglary is where there are no people involved. Burglars typically tend to try and avoid people. They do their best to stay away from folks. They look and say, no one is home at the house. No one is inside of the car. No one's near. No one's around. I'm going to take property. Have we ever seen a burglary cross a line and transition and become a robbery? Have we ever seen that happen? Yes. So typically that involves a person getting caught or getting discovered. So they're burglarizing something that's unoccupied. You come up and catch me in the act, and when you do, I use the threat or the fear of force or violence to take and get away, or maybe get more. Okay, we have burglars who are active and people come home and catch them in the process. Can that occur? Yeah, absolutely. So we can see a burglary turn into a robbery, but we don't really see a robbery turn into a burglary. It goes one way or the other. That'll come back into play later on. We could write the fancy word here and say property and persons, and the easier way to say property is what? Stuff. Okay, burglary is about stuff. On the note of stuff, let's just have this discussion right now. Name something that you guys own that's a thing, that's a car, a piece of jewelry, your great-grandfather's watch, that you guys would be willing to die over. Just a thing. Your badass TV. Who here would be willing to die over your badass Xbox and all your games? Nobody. Good answer. Awesome, you're in the right place. Who here would be willing to be paralyzed or injured or maimed for the rest of their life over some stuff? Over this collection of Beanie Babies or antique plates that you have or whatever. It's fun. I'm glad to see people laughing because it's just stuff. That's all it is. It's stuff. Who's ever seen TV before when there's a tornado or a hurricane and it goes through the southeast part of the U.S. and these people come on TV and they're crying and they say what? They say, we lost everything. Who's ever seen that before? You guys seen that? It's funny because maybe I look at things differently. I look and I say, you lost nothing. You didn't lose anything. You're standing here. There was a time when you were born and you came in the world naked and you had nothing. And it's stuff. And you know what's funny is if you revisit those people 2 years after that tornado, they're living in a house, they have a new TV, they have new clothes, they have a new car, they have kitchen utensils, they have plates. They didn't lose everything. They have all that crap back. And then they get hit by another tornado and they lose it all again. Okay? So the person is the single most important thing you've got. Your safety, your well-being, your health, your fingers, your eyes, your ears, your toes, all that stuff. That's the most important piece. And that's very overarching in everything we're going to cover. Does that make sense to everybody? Good? All right, fantastic. So I want to look at what's written in red right here on both sides of the board.